Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be my review for Teen Wolf, Season 3, Episode 20, I think? Let me check that. Is Episode 20? No, Episode 18, Season 3, Episode 18, Letharia Vulpina, that's how I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, this episode was amazing again, and definitely this was my favorite of the season. There were so many intense scenes this episode, so much shit went down in the episode. Just really, really intense scenes, and another great performance from Dylan O'Brien. Definitely, in my opinion, I forgot to say, his performance last week is Emmy-worthy. In this one as well, it's Emmy-worthy because it's something that Stiles has never really had to do. He's never really had to be evil, and I really love that about Stiles' arc this year. But there was some really great stuff in this episode, and I'm really looking forward to the next one because it's getting really, really good. And again, this was definitely my favorite episode of the season. And when the director said, the director said on Wolf Watch last week, he said, next week's episode is one of the most intense yet. Yes, this is probably the most intense episode of Teen Wolf I've ever seen. Oh, that's how intense it was, because it started out right away. So the show opens up with several business-looking men waiting for a doctor to look after a sick woman named Yuki. And Dr. Deaton is back. He arrives and asks if Yuki's been around any lichen that she may have consumed. And Dr. Deaton says they'll be able to treat Yuki so long as he obtains a sample of the lichen. And Dr. Deaton is taken to the garden where the lichen is grown. He's taken to the garden where the first Nogitsum was killed. Growing on the fountain where the dark Nogitsum was killed previously grows bright green lichen. Dr. Dean identifies the lichen as Letharia Vulpina. That's what this was all about. He knows about what happened there. The man pulls the gun on Dr. Dean, but the man can't move, and as Dr. Dean says he's covered the glass sample jar he gave to the man with a powerful paralytic agent, the man, the son of the previous Nogitsum, utters Kanima. This does not mean that Dr. Dean is a Kanima, probably just a paralytic venom of a Kanima, but I'm like, Kanima? Haven't we been done with that? Well, he says that this type of lichen is incredibly poisonous to fox and wolves and plans to use a lichen to purge Stiles out of the dark fox spirit that's currently possessing him. So, then we see the electrical wire that broke at the hospital is causing havoc. Luckily, Kira's okay. I knew she'd be okay. I didn't think they'd actually kill Kira off. I'm like, seriously, they're going to kill Kira off right now from that? But they didn't. She was fine. An ambulance runs into the fire hydrant, forming a quickly expanding puddle. The electric from the cable interacts with the small lake and begins electrocuting people, including Issac. Kira jumps on the water unaffected by the electrical current and absorbs the, I can't talk today, I'm sorry, and absorbs the energy from the cable. Derek shouts, Issac, he's not breathing. Kira's mother witnesses her daughter's display of power, which is pretty big. She's starting to see that they have power, and it is interesting to see what's going to happen here. So Scott wakes up the next morning, hears Derek's voice. He says, you have to tell Sheriff Stilinski what's really wrong with Stiles. So Isaac's in the hospital. Stiles is still nowhere to be found. The whole episode, they don't know where Stiles is. Well, not the whole episode, but this half of the episode, they don't know where he is. And I thought it was really good that they didn't bring Stiles out to the second half of the episode because it just made things much more intense. So Scott and Allison visit Isaac in his hospital room. He's badly electrocuted. They both wonder why he isn't healing. He absorbs some of his pain. Allison asks if Stiles really did this. And Scott says yes, and that he's working a way to possibly try to stop him from hurting more people in the future. That's what he wants to do. He wants him to stop hurting more people in the future, and that's just his plan. So in the hallway, Kira talks with Scott. She says that Nogitsum are trickster spirits. She says that if someone offends a Nogitsum, they oftentimes react very badly. So this Nogitsum, they oftentimes react badly. So this Nogitsum must be extremely pissed. So the twins and Stiles hear one of Mr. Arden's high-pitched emitters. They go down the basement and they find Stiles holding the beacon. So that's where Stiles is. He's holding the beacon and he puts out his hand and says, "It's me, guys. I swear it's me." But obviously, we can't really trust Stiles right now because, as we know, he is possessed by a fox. He's possessed by a very evil being, like a fox or something, and we really cannot trust Stiles. And again, amazing stuff from Dylan O'Brien in this episode. Really, I think he should get some Emmy consideration. I don't know what's going to happen with his character, but either way, definitely nominate him for an Emmy because he did great. He's been doing great these past few episodes. So the twins attack Stiles, but Scott tells them to stop. Scott says that he doesn't know what he's been doing the past few days, or where he's been, but that he knows what's happening. He says that he knows he caused the accident, and he also says that it's part of something bigger, but he's not exactly sure what. He does know, however, that it's part of something much worse. So in the basement, Scott and Stiles are trying to figure out what's going on, what trap he might have set. And they arrive at the woods. They're trying to stop the runners. They tell everyone to stop. Stiles locates a long iron chain, and he begins pulling it from the ground. The coach approaches, asks them what is going on. He trips over a wire and is shot with an arrow. Now, I was really hoping the coach wouldn't die because the coach, let's face it, is probably the funniest character on the show. Definitely right now. Like, he gives some of the best comedic dialogue on the show because he never knows what the hell is going on. So that's why he's always such a great character, because he never knows what's going on, and I love that about his character. He's so funny. That's why I love his character. So, then we see, okay. So, after this, the coach is really hurt badly. Derek and Chris are locked up in the present. They've been framed for murder. Chris thinks it's odd that Stiles would have framed them for murder. He needs more time to figure out more about his motivations. And next, everyone seems to think that Stiles has crafted a new shrapnel bomb. So, in the school parking lot, chaos ensues. Kira's father runs onto a school bus and sees a student sitting there. He's holding a wrapped present, the supposed bomb. And Peter reveals that he'd like Lydia to retrieve the memory that his sister... Well, I'll get to that in a second. That's the subplot. Then Kira's father visits the school, acquires a small box for her husband. Her husband says, "How many more tails are you willing to sacrifice?" It's clear that her mother's connection to the Uni is bound linked to the power of her tals. From the box, she pulls out a long, dark, bladish thing, snaps it in half. The bomb on the bus was a fake. The deputy that unwrapped the gift pulls out Sheriff Stilinski's name tag. That usually sits on his desk at the present, and the real bomb is actually at the present. So in the midst of a panic, an officer uncuffs Chris and Derek from the bench. They're being held. Derek shields Chris from the blast, and at the station, multiple officers are down. Scott and Stiles arrive. Chris is grateful that Derek saved his life, and Scott, Kira, and Stiles run to the animal clinic, which is linked with Mountain Ash. This will hopefully protect them from the recently released one. When they arrive at the animal clinic, the Uni are also there. One of them also stabs Scott with the wound. They make their way into the clinic. As Kira tries to help Scott, the Nagitsuna emerges and knocks her out. Stiles plunges his sword deeper into Scott's chest and tells him that he should never trust a fox. Stiles says that the Nagitsuna feeds off pain. And again, amazing stuff from Dylan O'Brien here. This was really amazing because Scott trusted him and Stiles is all evil now, and this was probably the best scene in the episode. And before Stiles can do anything more drastic, Dr. Eden shows up, injects Stiles with a poisonous manufactured from the dead lichen he collected at the beginning of the episode. So here's where we find out what the dead lichen actually does. Because Scott asks Dr. Dean if Stiles is better if he's cured, and Dr. Dean says no, the fox inside is just poisoned for now. And that is where we end the episode, and I gotta say it was an amazing episode. We did have a little bit of a subplot in there towards the end with Lydia and Allison, so let's just get to that because I actually really like that. So let's just get to that. So Lydia's walking through the hallway. She sees Peter talking to her mom, the new science teacher, which is very funny from last week where I found her mother was a science teacher. That was definitely really funny. Peter gave her mom his phone number. Lydia didn't react to all of this, especially given her history of Peter. And what happens is they go to Derek's loft to seek help from Peter, the hunter and the banshee, and he says, "Come in, girls." And he says it's not the scream that gives her power, it's the scream that allows her to focus her hearing. He says that, and remember, she wants to know why she's so sensitive to all these sounds, and the person that she gets this advice from is Peter, which I was kind of surprised about myself, but I guess it's believable, it makes sense. Allison wants to know what he wants in return. He doesn't say anything. All he does is pour out his sister's Talons onto the desk. This is making me think we're eventually gonna see Cora again. I don't know when, but I think we're gonna see Cora, probably in the finale, because they keep hyping her return up, and I'm thinking we're gonna see her again in the finale. Although she does have another TV show, we don't know that. Peter says that Lydia's hearing is tuned into part of the universe that nobody else can hear, but she needs to listen, and after Alice and Peter have a little fight, Lydia shouts to stop. Somehow she throws the claws into the opposite bowl, and she says, "You're not just an uncle." And that scene was amazing right there. I didn't know what was going on there. And Peter's upset by the memory Lydia retrieved for him. He wants to know more why he wants to know who he's fathered and why his sister would have stolen that present of a memory. Allison shocks Peter so they can escape. And then we get the biggest reveal of them all. I thought this was an amazing reveal. She looks at the picture. It's Malia, who is Peter's daughter. And I was so surprised. Now, I knew that something was going to happen with Malia. I knew that More Bad Than Good was not the last we're going to see of Malia. It felt way too safe for that to happen. This is not that kind of show that does, one case every episode. That's not that kind of show. I knew that was eventually going to come back into play, and boy, did it ever, because now we have this whole thing with Peter and Malia being related. Now, I'm very surprised that they're related. I think it's a great reveal. I'm really looking forward to seeing what this is going to do to the rest of the show. But I really love this episode. I thought it was an amazing episode. Again, Dylan Bryan right now is giving it his all. Every episode, he really is amazing. Now, a couple things I want to know from this episode from you guys. One, how can they unpossess Stiles? It seems like he's possessed by the fox, so obviously something, in order for this to happen, do you think they're going to have to kill Stiles? I don't think they're going to kill Stiles. Although you never know, they did say they're killing off a beloved character this season. Let's just hope it's not Stiles, because Dylan O'Brien's great. Although I refuse to believe that after all these years of Stiles being so amazing, that MTV would just go ahead and kill Stiles. I refuse to believe that. Let me know what you thought of the big reveal about Peter. I was very surprised about that. I didn't expect to hear about that. I thought it was an amazing reveal. Really love that. That was really great stuff. What do you think? We still don't really know much about Lydia. We know a little bit more, but not a lot. She's a very powerful being. That's all we really know about Lydia. She's very powerful, and apparently we're going to see another banshee, which I'm thinking might end up being Malia, because why would Lydia discover it? And she's a banshee, why would she be the one to discover it? I'm thinking Malia's going to end up being the other banshee. They said something about that on Wolf Watch, and I'm really looking forward to next week. It looks like next week they're really going to figure out what the hell is going on with Stiles, which I'm really looking forward to, because I'm wondering myself what the hell is going on with Stiles. But that's basically it for my review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be my review of the Fosters. So, see you then. Bye.